there with the witness marks, okay, try to stay as close to the line as you can and get them all nice and tight, okay? That makes it easier once we've cut this and we're filing everything, okay? Okay, so we are about to cut the blade shape out, okay? Now it's really important to remember that there is a process with cutting this out. So obviously, fitting it in the vise, I've just got the offset vise here. Will make it easier to fit this in as opposed to just a normal vise, okay? If you are placing your work directly into the vise, you'll notice that the teeth, there are teeth in the jaws. They are quite coarse there. So if you do clamp up, make sure you have these soft jaws. They're going to protect your work from getting ripped up by that, okay? There is also the alternative when we're either cutting and filing to use just some scrap timber, clamp that in between, okay, both sides, and when we clamp that in the vise, okay, that just absorbs the vibration so you don't have as much noise there, okay? Also, when we're cutting, okay, we cut everything in a straight line. You'll notice there is a curve, okay? Don't get your hacksaw and try to follow the curve, okay? That hacksaw is just going to bind up in there, okay? We're going to cut a series of straight lines. So if you have a look here, so if you follow my pen, okay, so for example here, okay, we just cut a straight line, okay? And then we move and we cut another straight line, and then we cut another straight line. Okay, and we should have a rough or a raw curve, and then what we do is we just file that round to the witness mark when we're ready. Okay, now alternatively up the top, okay, so you'll notice that we have this section that we're going to cut out up the top. Okay, we would cut our angles, so place that in the vise, just cut straight down, and then we cut a series, okay, of lines down, okay, and then we have a bending tool that we slot in, and we move that back and forward, and those pieces will just break off, and then we can file to our witness mark the same way, okay? So you'll notice how I've set this up in the vise, okay? So we have our pieces of scrap timber there, they're clamping that in place, so that will prevent our timber from vibrating so much, it absorbs the noise. We also, the lower you place the cutting points where you are going to cut with your hacksaw, the lower you place that to where the jaws are in the vise, okay, the less noise and vibration you're going to have when you start cutting with your hacksaw. Always remember, never cut on the line, cut over the waist side of the line. Give yourself 2 millimeters, and then we will draw file up to that witness mark as well, okay? When I'm cutting, I like to drag the hacksaw backwards a few times, okay? That creates a groove in where I'm going to cut, okay? Now from there, then once I have that groove, I'm ready to start cutting. So I can use the whole length of the blade. Both hands are on the hacksaw blade, okay? And I'm using a combination between the timber that I have set up here, close to where I want to cut, and those witness marks as well. So just cutting that. And we stop just on the line there. Okay, so I now cut out, okay, the slots at the top, okay. We're just stopping right on the line up here, and we've cut our 45s. Close to the line, okay, but not taking the line away. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to use this jig, okay, it's a slotted jig we're going to use to bend the material and to break it off. Okay, so let's place this carefully in the vise, and what you're then going to do, nice and low, grab your jig, slot that over the top, and just carefully bend it backwards all the way, forwards all the way, and it should just break off. Okay, we go along to the next one as well. We do the same. Okay, once a few of these have gone through, it breaks off pretty easily. Okay. Okay, we have a little bit that we need to file there, but that's pretty much done the job there. The next step, we're going to cut these corners out, so they're very easy cuts, they're just a straight cut. Cutting out the curved section, so I mentioned before, we're going to do that in a series of straight cuts. You have to be a little bit creative with how you fit this into the vise just to get the best cut for you, depending on whether you're right-handed or left-handed. Remember to keep the point where you are cutting low in the vise. If you have it clamped up quite high, okay, this rocks around and it makes a very loud noise, okay, howling noise, and you don't have as much control over. So when you are cutting, drop that in the vise nice and low, and then when you get to a point that you need to cut more, just lift it up in the vise and keep continuing that as you get through your cut. So the next step here is to cut along the line just outside the witness mark, okay, to get the shape of our blade. To do this, we're not going to try and do this in one single cut and follow the curve. You actually just want to cut in straight lines. So we're going to make 3 straight cuts. So if you can follow that pen mark, 3 straight cuts to get around that curve there, and then we'll just file the rest of the curve to the witness mark, okay? What you'll need is the soft jaws. I have some timber as well, just in case I need to put some padding in the vise just to stop the vibration in there, okay? So line this up. I'll place this in the vise. Gets a little bit, you have to get a little bit imaginative here. You'll notice that I have this nice and low in the vise where I'm cutting, okay? The higher you have it, if you have it up really high in the vise, you'll notice that it does wobble around a lot and it will vibrate as well, making a really loud howling noise. Okay, so keep it nice and low. With your hacksaw, okay, just check before you start cutting with your hacksaw blade, just make sure that there is enough tension on that blade. Okay, also check that there's no teeth missing as well. So to get the right tension, if it's too loose, you can just simply tighten that nut at the top there, okay, and adjusting that tension. Okay, to start our cut, so we do want to cut as close to the line as possible without taking the line off. Okay, so I'll run this blade backwards. I'll actually put my earmuffs on. So run the blade backwards, just to create a groove. Now that I have my groove, when you are cutting with your strokes, use the whole blade, okay? So make sure you have a full stroke forward and a full stroke back, okay?